Hello, everybody. Recently, RochiT made a video calling out a specific type of people that you see in the customs pool, the Tom Gomes of the world. You know, the people that I'm sure you've seen if you try and grind for a team in Arena. They play the same build over and over because it's strong and because it wins games, and not because it's interesting or fun or creative. The video was like kind of dividing into either the Tom Gomes of the world or the scientists of the world, kind of splitting the factions. Like Avatar or something. I don't know, but either way, this video is kind of in response to that, and also in response to a video from Matchman7, which was very cool, by the way. I'll link Matchman7 in the description. Very underrated content creator, especially for like not using a voice. It's incredible what Matchman's able to do without using vocals. Hello, Grounded Zap. But Matchman made a team that specifically counters these like powerful teams with stuff like Scorpion and Boxfish, and is basically just made to snipe out all the 100 behemoths. Mine doesn't quite do that, but it is made with the idea of being fun and creative and looking silly and goofy while also just completely styling on the on the Tom Gomes of the world. Speaking of which, the competitive scene, for some reason, has had like an obsession with making these sorts of teams. And like, I get it for one time, you know, I can't blame you if one time you wanna like test out an infinite or make a pack and be like, hey, wow, okay, cool, I can get a behemoth to 50-50 and then get it to 100-100 on like turn 14. Look at me go, I'm really cool. But you would surely think that the novelty wears off after a while. I've seen so many teams from one LGTYQZ, known competitive player, which is just like, oh, here's level 3 Sauropod, level 3 Bird of Paradise, and 100-100 behemoths. And it's like at a certain point, you know, you can think of builds more interesting than that, surely. Speaking of LG, this is fairly standard so far, but just you wait and see. Actually, I don't remember if I faced LG in this run, but I faced LG a lot while going for this build. But what is actually the idea behind this build? What are we trying to do here? Well, I love Seagull Mushroom tech, I always have. And I wanted to do something with the giant Pangasius, because it's a really satisfying unit. I found it to be pretty good when just playing games of Versus. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to make a whole build around it. So the thing is that if you try and make a build with like Sifaka and you get 2 transformations from that and you just transform it alone, it's very, very volatile. Say the setup you have is Seagull Mushroom with Pangasius with double Tamarin Sifaka. First of all, either of the Tamarins could become a Snow Leopard, which then is a starter battle snipe, and if that Snow Leopard... Hello, Coolcus, by the way. If that Snow Leopard dies, then your Pangasius gets transformed. Which is really awkward. And also, the Sifaka itself can make something into a Walrus, which also causes your mushrooms to get replaced by peanuts. And also in general, the build just dies very easily to ailments. You'll see I have a level 2 behemoth there. Trust me, I'm not doing cringe stuff with it yet, but I do need somewhat of a big body to get this build over the line at all. But it won't be scaling a ridiculous amount like you think it will. I'm not doing that. What is pretty cool is I have quail chick in the pack, and until I hit mushroom on seagull, I'm usually going seagull rice. So I get to just buy sell quail chicks for free and get some free stats, which is very cool tech. I freeze the chickpea. See, I told you I'm not keeping this behemoth as a behemoth for long. We have more triggers on seagull, by the way, because the trigger reset. So why not get another quail chick? This is honest work, as they've once called it. You know, you buy sell a quail chick, you get a bit of free stats, but it's not so much gold generation that you're like breaking the game all of a sudden. Anyway, here's Ronnie Maybe with a giant behemoth also. I'm just spamming these quails because they're effectively free. I mean, you could get more gold by like cycling out a pig or an oyster or something like that, but I was pretty interested in getting stats. Anglerfish is the same because you get the free unit and then you can sell the free unit for extra gold. But I think in this case I actually keep the behemoth. Here's the pangasius. Faint, deal 4 damage to one random enemy for each friendly transformation this turn. You will soon see the plan. Here's a level 2 oyster. Transformation stuff just always looks very goofy. Especially when I just have oyster in the pack anyway for gold generation. It's like, it just looks very funny to have a 2632 oyster be my biggest unit. It's just an acorn. This is the type of build I can respect. Look at this. Some shenanigans with a mommy rabbit, manticore, barghest. It almost looks like, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, it looks like a no-roll team. Or something like that. But the spiny bush vibe is fun. But we do have enough to win. The pangasius dies, you can already see a bit of it. But not all of it. So initially, his hooded seal, by the way, that's not actually going to help us for right now. But it has been part of some attempts of this build. But anyway, here's the thing. So going back to the problem earlier that we had of you can't guarantee that your pangasius won't be transformed by the transform effect. There are some ways around it. Obviously, you can't completely play around like snipes and things like that, but there are some ways around it. And actually, those ways pretty much exclusively just benefit the build anyway. Perfect draw, by the way. Here comes the tiger. That's interesting. For now, that goes behind Pangasius, but we don't really have any transformations yet. But, I mean, look at the rest of our board. What else is it going to copy? Here comes Anglerfish again for a bit more gold. But again, you know, it's an honest amount of gold. This is not like a completely broken build. Why did I skip that Tifaka? Who knows? I think I wanted to do something with Hooded Seal and then realized it was strictly worse than what I was doing before. Anyway, here's Seaweed on a Behemoth. That's pretty fun. So, we know the Behemoth's not going past 50-50 anyway. So what does it matter? Here's Jeremiah 27. What is in this abomination? Stegosaurus and Leopard with level 3 Tiger. You know what? It's abomination tech. I can respect it. But it does mean a lot of my board dies. They have a 50-50. That's kind of scary. Anyway, we draw. It's a surprisingly powerful build that's difficult to get online. We don't have all the components yet, still, even with this. Here's a pig for money. Why not? Extra gold. And I take a stingray. Because we have 3 lives, this flashlight's guaranteed to do something at the very least. Why not? We're rolling. I skipped the pangasius. As much as I want level 3 pangasius, that would be so cool. We just don't have the other component parts yet, which we need to worry about first. Here's just an acorn. We have our transformations. Also, everything died. That was pretty quick. We're still rolling. There's the Sifaka. Could have taken it so much earlier, but here we are. And we have Tiger Sifaka, which is gonna transform these twice. That does work, by the way. Even though technically the tiger transforms the first time, and so no longer would repeat this, it's already repeated from the start. This just transforms both of these twice. So we get 4 transforms from there, and then everything gets seaweed. Now you might think, well, why would you want that? Why would you want seaweed on all of these? When the Sifaka can, like, give you premium faint units, like Hydra and Lionfish and Warthog and stuff. First of all, it's more transformations to the Pangasius, and I think that's cooler. Second of all, it actually protects against a couple of edge cases. Which is fun, because if either of these turn into a walrus, then the peanut will override this. The seaweed actually means that they become a sea urchin before they die. Barring, like, random snipes, of course. But then that means that it's, like, a bit of health reduction, and also, you know, like, we can't have things overridden. We can't have the Pangasius be transformed by our own team, or anything like that. The only, like, I would like this to be a Golden Tamarin, but as much as I would, Golden Tamarin is like a 1 in 7 to just immediately ruin things with Snow Leopard. And since we have to keep seaweed on it, it will never, like, be guaranteed to live a hit. It'll never be guaranteed to live a hit anyway, because Behemoth, but you get the idea. Anyway. I put seaweed on the tiger. Truth be told, I should have put it on the Sifaka first, but we have seaweed for all 3 anyway. So it's fine. Hello, Elder First. Don't you feel proud of this build? This is such a... I've never seen this unit before. What does this unit even do? Spend 7 gold, give 3 random friends +2/+2. Oh, so you're making exclusively big numbers on pets with percent scaling. And a level 3... Okay, Interesting. So this leopard snipes out my seagull, but we still get enough transformations. And look, this is another edge case. Because the Sifaka can make an Ammonite. If the Ammonite would be allowed to go off, we suddenly lose all value on the Pangasius immediately. So not only is the sea urchin good for another transformation, it's also good to stop this from griefing Pangasius. And now everything dies. We win that fight. Surprisingly. I get flashlight value. I have seaweed, so I'm done with perks. And the levels on these don't matter that much. So I just, like, buy this Oblonaut. I roll. And I even buy this tofu to get a second Oblonaut. Just because that's basically where all my gold is going now. Robo Dino. This one's on thin ice. This one's on thin ice. It's level 3 chimpanzee, level 2 farmer dog. But you do have Goblin Shark Seaweed Tech, which is pretty interesting. And double Winter Spirit, which I see used pretty rarely. The Goblin Shark does kill Sifaka, but it's still able to transform from beyond the grave. Here's some sea urchins. Unfortunately, because of the sea urchin ability, this snipe is able to kill our seagull. But in this case, it doesn't matter, because 6 transformations this turn, it's just a lot of damage. And, I mean, as many mana snipes as there are, we get the Pangasius back. We're on turn 17 now, which is pretty late. It's kind of the point where you would expect some of the try-hard sweaty teams to show up. I'm transforming this into whatever. I'm just spamming every transform food I can. I have water, beef, chickpea, and Competa all in this pack. Just to manually transform this, since I can't have it be like a start of battle transform, really. So it's just gonna transform with food as much as I can. Which, of course, helps Pangasius even more. This is a 50-50 Scorpion, which is kind of interesting, I suppose. Congratulations in that regard. I'm just at this point waiting for the snake to hit my Pangasius. But it in fact doesn't, just yet. We get 8 transforms. The full 8. That's the 7 in battle plus 1 extra outside of battle. And the Pangasius snipes everything. And then it comes back, and then it gets a mushroom, and then it snipes everything. And then it repeats. And then it repeats over and over. Alpaca becomes another tiger. Why not? Yeah, why not? I'm putting celery on the Sifaka. 1 leopard on its own can only deal a maximum of like 25 damage per hit. So I want to get everything over the 25 threshold. Hi again, Jeremiah. This is the Abomination guy. This is 3 Croc Snipes, 3 Stegosauruses, and then level 3 Tita, or Tita Thrush, I think it's called. It's interesting to say the least. But even though we lose our seagull, the entire board is dead. The entire board is simply dead to Pangasius snipes. And it's funny because this board could have so fewer stats than it has and still do pretty well. I just have it this way to deal with snipes because they're very annoying to deal with in the late game. Speaking of, man, have you ever seen so many strictly good units on one board before? And yes, I'm including this guy. Level 3 Croc. We lose Mushroom. We get Tasty on a bunch of stuff. They just have a level 3 Poodle. And we get fairly close, to be fair. But we didn't have Mushroom. It's turn 20, by the way. Transform again. It's an oyster again. Why not just have that on the board, huh? And 1 final celery for the road. I know what you are. There's just so many numbers. You've just got nothing but numbers. You got level 3 Dragonfly, you got almost level 3 Penguin, which is no longer doing anything. You got level 2 Bison. You've got 4 Scalers here and a giant reindeer. I would argue this is somebody that's still trying to be a Tom Gorman, not a scientist. Either way, health reduction. Health reduction. We trade the first unit, but they still have so many numbers. They still have so many numbers, and we just have a lowly Pangasius. How could we possibly win this? Thank you for watching, everybody. Truly, I mean this. Have a wonderful day.